Today we just want to make a notification to the community on really two public safety concerns we have here and operations that we're going to be conducting. Of course, we are still in this COVID-19 crisis, but we also are sticking consistent with what we do every year here around this time of year when it comes to setting forth a DUI operation throughout the county. And so what I wanted to do is just speak on those two areas because we will be performing a DUI operation during the Labor Day holiday to make sure that we can help reduce the consistency in terms of DUI fatalities that we see not just here in Broward County but across the entire country. Our enforcement operation will start on Saturday the 5th at 10 p.m. and continue all the way through Sunday 4 a.m. And what I would like to say to the community that this is your first and only warning when it comes to this operation. We will enforce all the laws of the state when it comes to DUI initiatives, including all the way up to arrest. It's important that we make sure we have a clear understanding about that. The expectation you should have if you see one of our officers on a traffic stop and you find yourself subject to an investigation is that we will execute an arrest or citations. In addition, it's important for this community to understand the figures behind this. When you look at what has been provided through the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration related to DUI activities, specifically during this time of year, and how it has impacted this community and this country, from 2014 to 2018, 44% of traffic deaths involved drivers who had been drunk or intoxicated. That's roughly 945 people that lost their lives simply because of irresponsible individuals putting themselves behind the wheel while being intoxicated. I think that's something that we all should find alarming, but understand that unlike most crime patterns or things that may take place, the civilians really have an opportunity to control that. It takes just a matter of having more social responsibility about what's important for this community and not our individual selves. We are happy to partner up once again with FHP on this initiative. We have to pay attention to the impact that this holiday may have in terms of increasing spikes with COVID-19. I've been working with the mayor and the county administrator consistently about what things they can do to get us forward in terms of phase 2 and move us back into more normalcy. And we know that this holiday is probably going to impact the numbers that we currently see. We're having some success, but we're not out of it yet. So what does that mean for this community during this holiday period? We need you to continue to comply with the COVID-19 recommendations that's been provided through the CDC, the Florida Department of Health, and many other governing bodies. What does that mean? Social distancing. Maintaining that idea of wearing a mask and mitigating these large parties and gatherings. We will continue to work with our county code enforcement entities to ensure that we are shutting down these large parties and continue to issue out citations and enforce in these areas. As a reminder, just over the last few months where we launched an operation related to COVID-19 working with the county, we ended up issuing out roughly 1,600 plus citations and or warnings. We can't have that type of environment during this holiday season. If we're going to continue to push through COVID-19, it goes back to the community has to hold on and do what they can to support our efforts to safeguard them.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's like Sheriff Tony said, this is one of the most dangerous holidays in the nation when it comes to drowsy drowning. We're asking everybody to please use caution, especially nowadays with the pandemic that we have going on. Maintain social distancing. Have a friend with you. If you feel tired, pull over. Don't drink and drive. Be safe. Please have others in mind, not just yourself. We will be enforcing all DUI stops. DUIs, you will go to jail if you get stopped drinking and driving.
That's more part of the continuation of the partnership we have right now with the code enforcement aspects where they are going out to the businesses. What we've done is looked at what can we really enforce to make a big difference. I've worked with Broward Health and listened to how we have impacted, the young population that was going out and having these large parties and helping, well, not helping, but impacting and spreading the virus even more. By cutting down those parties and doing those citations and shutting them down, we've been able to contribute in that side. So from a business standpoint, yeah, code enforcement will continue to be out there to cite those businesses that are not in compliance because we just can't risk it, and we'll support those efforts. Yeah, that's part of initiating our DUI task force is to really rally up all our motormen and traffic enforcement personnel, giving them an opportunity to saturate the entire county, hit those areas where we know that there's high frequency in traffic, certain roadways and highways, and get them engaged with FHP. Not a specific number, but I will tell you it's a combination between all our DUI and motor traffic unit and any other support personnel that needs to be helping when it comes to the parties. So a lot of our specialized units have been participating in shutting down some of the parties. It hasn't just been patrol. As you can imagine, this is a big county, and we have to utilize all our resources to get these things done. A combination, yeah, that we'll strategically have personnel out there doing traffic enforcement related to the standards, people looking suspicious, swerving in and out of traffic, but we can also just modify where we're going to target based on businesses, what we've known from the past. These type of operations have been run for years here, and what we've seen is it's consistently the same territories, same areas, people either leaving bars or leaving site locations, finding themselves on highways or major roadways, and then we get car accidents and unfortunately the fatalities that come with it. Yeah, I'm concerned about the large gatherings and parties, to be quite frank. We've done a very good job when it comes to shutting down these parties, but typically with a holiday, knowing that so many different businesses and bars are shut down, what's going to most likely happen is people are going to have barbecues and parties at their residence, and we recommend to keep it within compliance of social distancing, but the reality of it is not everyone's going to comply with those wishes, and we're going to find ourselves at homes where people have 30, 40 people at their house. Well, it depends on, remember, we have a multitude of different cities that we're responsible for. So for our cities that we would go out to, we would do the enforcement aspect based on whatever city ordinances or county ordinances that exist, and then enforce it from there. So when I talked about that combination of like 1,600 plus different citations that have been written by code enforcement as well as officers, it's been kind of just a combination of depending on what city we're in. Yeah, we've seen these kind of strategic parties and the rolling car clubs and initiatives like that, but this is going to be more generated just basically because it's a holiday. There's not going to be large gatherings on the beach. There's not going to be, big parties or events going on at bars and clubs because of this virus. And so just a common sense approach is we're going to see more parties at residents. And this is why we're doing part of this hybrid of, it's not just a DUI task force press conference, but it's also a reminder about COVID-19 still being present, still being a threat to this community. And the community has to take on some social responsibility behind mitigating this harm. Yeah, Michael, we've kept consistent with the CDC recommendations. So anytime we're breaching that 10 plus more, we're not in compliance with what's being recommended by the experts, the scientists, the healthcare professionals. So when we have to arrive to these locations, that's what our deputy and command staff and supervisors are assessing. Are they in compliance? Are they doing the things inside the parties where we don't have to have the concern of shutting it down? They're going to have to step up and do what's right. There's some things here that we can do to step in and handle these enforcement activities, but for every time we have to do that, it's taking personnel off the road that is still responsible for other issues, right? COVID-19 is not the only responsibility for this agency in terms of enforcement. We still have crime taking place. We're talking about DUIs. And so I encourage our businesses, one, listen, hang in there. We know it's tough. We know they're struggling. We know they're losing revenue streams, but don't allow us to come in and dictate and control shutting your business down. Be that self-enforcement. Make sure that the community understands, hey, look, I would love to have that extra 5 people in here. It helps pays the bills, but at the same time, I can't afford to shut down this business nor further spread this virus throughout this community. I think we've already proven that. We have to make sure we're enforcing these laws. We're having success because we've taken more enforcement activities. All right. Thank you very much.